So what is the strategy we used? Okay, we wanted to establish business process improvement as an organizational goal. Okay, and we ended up doing that. So BPM was established as one of the 4 organizational goals that OBM has for itself, right? We wanted to focus on business user involvement in process changes. We are very good at managing people. We have hierarchies where we say these people manage. We give performance reports. We manage people very well, but we don't manage processes very well. If you ask who is the owner of a process, they'll look at you funny, okay? Because the processes cut across multiple functional units, and there are multiple people that will claim parts of the process, and nobody wants to be held accountable for the overall process. So one of the strategy was focus on business user involvement and make them accountable for these processes. IT will start focusing on application development. We will start, and the State of Ohio CIO, he has a transformation project that he kicked off a couple of years ago, and that's going to have a private cloud for us that will, we will be centralizing to for operations and infrastructure. That's what we are moving towards. And then IT on the agencies, we'll focus on application development, which will provide values for the customers. And then we'll start capturing the business knowledge that users have in process diagrams and procedures. Okay. And then we'll identify an innovative solution, and I'll talk about how we ended up with Appian in a short while, but we'll identify a solution that will allow us to focus on process improvement. I've been doing process work for close to 10 years now, using different tools. Again, I can tell you I've spent weeks trying to figure out why DB2 type 4 driver doesn't work with a particular process I'm trying to build. And then it's fun. Again, as an engineer, you love doing those root cause diagrams and figuring out where the issues are and figuring out that's where it is, and it's this sense of satisfaction solving them. But guess what? That's not what the users want to improve. They want to improve the process, and here I am spending 80% of my time worrying about the DB2 type 4 driver. Okay, and then finally, empower the customers. What does that mean? Empowering means they don't have to turn to IT every time they need something. Okay, if they need more information about a particular process or a particular subject area, they don't have to turn to IT and say, "Can you give me a report on that?" They should be able to go in, figure out where it is. The example I use, usually if you remember the last election cycle, when I believe in CNN, John King was in that magic wall. You guys remember that? And he was going through, the map over there. He was clicking on a state. It'll bring up the data for that state, and he would, look at this year. You can change the years. You would change other parameters. And here's the end user. And after about an hour of that, I could do that myself, right? You feel like that's nothing. I can do that myself, right? Well, that's the power of an interactive tool. If you can allow your users to play with their data the same way you saw CNN do with that magic wall, just imagine how much more information they can get out of that. Instead, what we end up doing is, well, IT, can you give me the 2008 report for the Department of Transportation spending in this area? IT goes around and writes a thing, or they will teach them complex queries, on how to do things so they can do that. So that's that's part of empowering customers, is making it easy for them to get to what they need. All right. So this is an eye chart for you here. So I'm not going to go through the whole thing. But this is one of the implementation roadmap that was initially developed even before the tool purchase. We kind of laid out, what are all the things we need to do in order for us to get to a goal of, improved processes in the, in our agency. And we based it on people, process, and technology on one axis, and the various maturity level on the other axis, and what are all the various things we should be doing. Currently, we are in the integrate phase. We just created a BPM competency center just a couple of months ago. But the tools purchase was in the level 2 stage of this. So for the tools purchase, one of the criteria, we put out an RFQ for a business process management tool. But my requirement was it should be a tool that can do documentation, orchestration, and monitoring all in the cloud. Because I have done BPM using a on-premise tool, and like I said, I loved doing those, but I spent a whole lot of time trying to work on these technical issues, which was distracting me from working on the process. So the RFQ specifically said you had to have cloud-based functionality for documentation automation and monitoring. So, and that's how we ended up selecting Appian. Came out as the best tool for us to be able to do that, and that's how I ended up selecting it.